Ladies and gentlemen, great to have you here at Emirates Old Trafford, and it's fitting in the middle of a pulsating test match here. We've had 100 years of Ashes cricket, and yesterday was a day for the ages. Huge number of runs in a very short period of overs. This building here is brand new, and we're here today to recognise the contribution and celebrate the life of David Hodgkiss OBE, over 20 years service to this club, you know, member, treasurer, vice chair, chair. And I think it's also in context that opening bat for Cockermouth, the same club as Ben Stokes. And, you know, David was an amazing friend, mentor, father figure and boss to me. And as Chief Executive of Lancashire Cricket, I'm immensely proud that we're here today to kind of recognise that unbelievable service with all of the things that he did for the club. And we're going to talk about an eternal memorial and some different things here. So just wanted to welcome everybody, and I'm going to hand over now in a second to Malcolm Lorimer, the club chaplain, and then the family, and then we have a very special guest at the end. One thing I will say is this building is kind of the culmination, the last piece of the stadium development, and which is £75 million, none of which would have really happened without David Hodgkiss. His experience in the construction industry, absolutely unbelievable. This ground would not be here in the way that it is now without him. This last piece here was very challenging, and I remember in January 2020 sitting with the bank with David over lunch, and I'm saying, I know you've just lent us some money, but we want you to lend us some more. And I've got all these papers out, and David's just going, yes, just do it, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And of course, it is fine. There's probably been at least 10 times when the project could have stopped, and we could have just gone, this is just too hard, we haven't got enough money, the construction company are being challenging. But one of the last things David said to me was, Daniel, finish what we both started. And David, we have finished what you started. Malcolm.
Thank you. It was my privilege to count David as a very special friend. And David was a person of many qualities. And the words you'll see on the plaque replicate those qualities. Qualities that he was a special person to so many people in this club. Not just board members, not just officials, but right down to the cleaners and the ground staff, everybody. People, everyone at the club liked and respected him. And at his memorial service on this ground, we filled the point, 500 people there, to celebrate his life, and it was a true celebration. And it's very fitted, this bar and terrace are named after him, because David's legacy will be looking out over the ground, and this bar will look out over the ground, and his legacy is this ground, really. And I'm pleased it's here because underneath here is a blank space. And that blank space is going to be the new Lancashire Museum. And David was passionate about Lancashire heritage, and it'll be very fitting when that new museum opens, with a bit of help from the lottery, hopefully, as well. And it'll be a very special tribute to a very much loved person, David Hodgkiss. Alex now is going to say a few words, his daughter.
Firstly, we wanted to thank Daniel and everyone here at Lancashire Cricket for having us here today. And I just wanted to share a few words about my father, David Hodgkiss. The COVID pandemic for many brings back distant memories of working from home and perhaps a day-to-day return to a simpler way of life. However, for us and many others, our worst fears were realised by losing a treasured loved one. Due to restrictions, goodbyes were said over FaceTime, David's funeral was held outdoors with only 6 in attendance, and grieving family members were kept apart. For a man who contributed so much to life and others, this farewell felt unjust in so many ways. So it's now with overwhelming gratitude that we stand here today on a terrace bearing his name at Emirates Old Trafford that he adored. That thousands of people will tread these floorboards really does make all of our hearts sing. As with all great institutions, it's not only the bricks and mortar, and maybe the steel, that makes the fabric of the building, but the people inside it. David loved being here, and his interactions with the players, the board, and especially the fans all drove him to making the best contribution he could to the club. He was by no means the loudest man in the room, but the man standing to the side, getting the job done, and lending an ear to anyone in need of it. David would be tickled pink, or maybe Lancashire red, by the thought of people meeting for a pint or two at Hodg's bar before the action on the pitch. On behalf of David's family, it's such a pleasure to be here today, so thank you for having us.
Right.
Thank you. Good to be here. I don't think there's anywhere David would rather have been than at Emirates Old Trafford today, watching the Ashes, which is still alive, at this great cricket ground over which he had such an influence the last 20 years of his life. This place has been absolutely transformed and rejuvenated, and David played a major part of that. In that. But that said, if you'd offered him a chance instead to go fishing, salmon fishing in Norway or Russia, or maybe trekking in Africa, I don't know which one he'd have chose. He was a man of great interests and enthusiasms. He kind of really believed that life was for living, and he squeezed every last drop out of it. It's an honour to open the Terrace and the bar. It's rather fitting that a bar has been named in his honour, but it's a great privilege to open it. And to remember a man of great warmth and generosity. Those of us who fished with him, who spent days with him on the river, there was not a day that passed that you did not regret spending time in David's company. He had great generosity of spirit. He was a wonderful man, and it's an honour to be here to open the bar and terrace in his name. There we go. Nice. Thank you. Great.
Right on time.